Welcome back, everyone, to our second episode of BA Studio TV. I'm Birgit, and thanks for joining us again.
And I'm Karina. Today's topic is a deeper look into our new company motto, Think Different, Stage Different, Sold Different.
Events of past months, and just this past week, we are all facing a different world today. These weeks have affected almost all aspects of our lives. It's time that we think different. Different in so many ways. I want to start out our episode today with a 10 seconds blackout to commemorate George Floyd. I want us all to use these 10 seconds to reflect on how you can think differently and act differently on a daily basis to create a better tomorrow.
Thanks for that, Birgit. This is so important, and I want to encourage our audience to stay mindful and to continue this self-reflection even after this challenging time has passed. So to begin with today's episode, what can you tell us about what inspired this new motto? What do you mean by think different?
Real estate has changed over the past few years and being fast forwarded in many ways over the past couple of months. We see people virtually buying properties without even having seen them. We see technology playing a more important role. A lot of it resulted from pivoting how real estate is doing business because of the limitations that we experienced because of the shutdown. So in essence, we had to think differently.
I know that staging homes for sale has been around for quite a few years now, and it has become essential for presenting real estate for sale. There are varying degrees to which professional home stagers are involved, and it's mostly initiated by the realtor. So from your experience, what has been the most effective way of getting a home prepared for sale?
That's a very good question. The most successful home sales for us had one commonality, and that was for the home sellers to think different from other home sellers. First, instead of contacting or hiring a realtor first, their different thinking is that they should hire a home stager before even showing their home to anyone else, not even the realtor. Their thinking is that they want to not just provide the best impressions of their home to the home buyers, but they want already to have their realtor experience that same best first impression. So they will price it on the higher end. Second, these same home sellers also allowed plenty of preparation time and made sure to contact us well in advance of when they actually wanted to list their property. They wanted to make sure that it is plenty of time, that the necessary preparations and the work all can be done. One of the toughest situations for us home stagers is when we are being brought in a week or less before a property is supposed to be listed, and then there is not enough time to do the work that would be necessary to get the maximum sales price. Many properties we consult on require desperately a fresh coat of paint or even different paint colors. So if then the answer is, oh, well, we can't do it because there is not enough time, then my heart starts bleeding because I know these home sellers are leaving thousands of dollars on the table and the property will sit on the market for much longer. And third, these home sellers had in common that they think differently because they take all the recommendations that we give them and act on them.
I remember you telling me about our recent empty nester client who they were absolutely adamant that they did not want a realtor to come in until the property was completely show ready. The realtors they interviewed were all so happy that they didn't have to deal with convincing their clients that they need to stage and they could just go right in and do what they do best, which is marketing and selling the listing. These home sellers sold their homes with multiple offers and at the absolute top of their market value just within a few days.
And exactly, and that's why we call it Think Different.
So I know now how important it is to think different, but now how does that translate into our staging? How do we stage different?
Yeah, the time is a big aspect in the outcome of the presentation and the staging. So we can do cosmetic changes if necessary. For example, we had this property in a few months ago that needed like tiles to be exchanged on the floors. They need lighting fixtures updated, paint colors, and the fresh coat of paint, and maybe even changes of like some of the wood elements of the home that needed to be painted, floors refinishing, and architectural accents on the exterior, as well as kitchen cabinets painting and new countertops being brought in. While all these things were particular to this property, but there are many properties that need at least some of these things to be done to really maximize the sales potential of the property and also to the maximum sales price. Like, think about if you see a field of white sheep, and every sheep has like difference. They're a little bit different in terms of one might have a black spot in the forehead, and the other one, the characters, the personalities are different. Overall, when you look into this field, they're pretty much the same. They're very, very similar. What would make a sheep stand out? Like, what is if you had a pink sheep in between? Would that sheep get the attention?
Yeah,
I guess so, right?
I think so.
It will be memorable. Everybody will be talking about this pink sheep. That's exactly what we want to do with staging. We want to make the property memorable. We aim to make our stage properties to be that pink sheep that stands out from all the online listings that are out there.
So I know it's so important to make the property stand out, but how do we accomplish this with the staging?
So do you remember our Envision project that we had earlier on this year? So if you were a home buyer and saw 5 properties in one day, and in the evening you reconvened with your husband and wanted to talk about these properties, how would you describe that property to your husband?
So it was the new construction, it had the clean lines and those yellow pillows. The yellow pillows in the living room, I will always remember that.
And there are many different ways how we can do it, but this is exactly what we're trying to do. We make conscious staging design decisions to make a property memorable. This can only be achieved through custom staging that focus on specific target buyers and the architecture of the property. We create lifestyle moments that dial in home buyers on a deep emotional level.
So in staging, it's all about creating positive feelings.
Yes, cookie cutter stagings that move from one home to another are not addressing these feelings. They just focus on placement of the furniture. These cookie cutter stagings leave out the most important component, namely emotions. So that's how we stage different.
I get it. So you think different and you stage different, and then the home sells differently. But why in our motto do we say sold differently in the past tense?
Yeah, so sold is because once you think differently and once you stage differently, the home is already sold, right? The selling process is much quicker, typically for a higher price, and you do not leave money on the table.
Think, stage, sold. Just like that. All right, everyone, that wraps up our episode for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. Just a little reminder, I'll be hosting a BA Trivia on our Facebook Live. This will be all around the topics of staging, design, real estate, and lifestyle, beginning this Friday, June 12th at 3 p.m. So just log on to Facebook. Our page is Studio TV BA. and I'll be on there live, and I hope that you will all join me as well.
Well, I can't wait for this one. Like, I did do a quick test run with Karina, and I tell you, these are some really cool questions. I would not want to miss that. So I have to do a timeout on this one because I've seen the question, so I'm not allowed to play this round. So, but maybe on one of the future episodes I will pop in.
Yep, definitely.
So I can't wait for that. And then don't forget to tune in next week on next Wednesday at 2:30 on our Facebook page. That was at Studio TV BA. And next week we will have our guest speaker,
Yeah,
our first guest speaker.
Our special guest, interior designer Stephanie Rapp. It's going to be great. So looking forward to having her on and hearing what she has to say and share with everyone.
Yeah, Stephanie is fabulous. We have collaborated on a project together, and the topic will be like, what's the difference between staging and interior design? So I hope we will see you there, and we'll see you then.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.